This is Jordan Grace, and you're listening to the Social Suplex Podcast Network.
BWB, this is One Nation Radio. You better get it right. Rich Latta, James Boyd came to give them life. The Blackest Wrestling Podcast has come to kick all ass and drop it 6 feet if they kicking trash. Word, let me welcome y'all to something different. And if you dig it, man, you should let some friends listen. We be getting it in, this on the regular dude. Ravish and flow, but this shit rude. See, James don't rap, so I had to break it down. The whole network, man, we coming for the crown. Raps in the columns, I keep them both covered. Making the beats too, so the listeners can bump it. Hit us with the rating, yeah, I'm saying it's a 5. Before you hit it, talk, bob your head side to side. It's One Nation Radio, and this is the beginning. It's Rich, and I'm here with James. It's time to listen to One Nation.
We got to unleash the power of the pyramid.
This is Mike Sempervive from WrestlingObserver.com. Check me out on Wrestling Observer Live every day. And also check out your boys, Rich and James, on One Nation Radio.
Hi, this is Kenny Omega. We're listening to One Nation Radio. Check it out, guys. These guys know what's up. Big Kenny Omega fans, and that's all that counts to me. Goodbye and good night. Thanks.
Hey, folks. Welcome to this week's edition of One Nation Radio. Rich, what's going on, man?
Happy Martin Luther King Jr. Day.
It seems like you're heading towards something. Do you actually just really want to wish me a happy Dr. King Day, or do you want to go somewhere with this?
I mean, we got some great commenters in the chat as always. We reacted to JD from New York's passionate plea to keep the title on Roman Reigns instead of Hulk Hogan, to take the belt off of Roman Reigns in favor of Hulk Hogan and him holding the title, and racism and blah, blah, blah. There's a lot of stuff.
How many days away is Roman from Hogan's second in longest reign thing? I think anyway?
It's sometime in September, if I'm not mistaken. If you guys are hearing this in the podcast only form, there will be a clip that you'll be able to cut and watch how we completely deconstructed that shit. But as far as MLK Day, did Cody do a promo on Raw or something? Like, wouldn't it be so fitting for Cody Rhodes to do a promo on MLK Day? Kind of like, I feel like it would sound similar to that Pat McAfee stuff. Did you come across the Pat McAfee by any chance? I
actually did, and it was actually like, what is it with these white men that have these platforms that are famous talking about them being canceled? Do they not have the self-awareness to realize that, like, you can't be, how are you quote unquote canceled if you are on ESPN spouting this? You're getting Disney checks, you asshole.
Stop gaslighting me, God damn it. We've actually
seen people get, sidelined and pulled off air for things they've said, and actually been quote unquote canceled, if you will, for things they've said on Disney Sports Channel. We've actually seen it. Hi, Jamel Hill.
Yeah.
Actually, she didn't even say it on air. She tweeted out that she had the nerve to tweet out that Donald Trump, a white supremacist, was a white supremacist, and lost her job and got pulled for that.
Amazing how that works. But it's MLK Day. I don't know. As the years pass, MLK Day becomes more interesting to me, just to see who's going to interpret the message as what, and also, like, seeing that FBI post go up every year. And then community notes completely violated them.
I didn't realize that happened.
Completely violated them. And it was great. But yeah, the whole thing with Roman and holding the belt, it is like, I don't know how you can really even, everybody knows this reign is like, they've artificially like inflated this thing like that much. So, like, if people are passionate about it and stuff like that, I mean, God bless them. But, like, open your eyes. Like, like I don't think he did anything past WrestleMania this year where it was like, oh yeah, that belt needed to be on him. This shit was like, how T.I. used to say, is make believe. You know, this is it's not real. You know, it's
also the part where it's like, you can make it mean whatever you want to, because like Roman has this gaudy like reign for days, right? But like, how about you throw in defenses? How about you like filter that out, right? And it's like, has he had 30 defenses? I don't think so.
There's no way.
Right.
Maybe like 20. He's had at least 25. I don't think he's had 30.
Right. I think it's somewhere in the 20s. So it's like, all right, do you want to compare that to Hogan's run?
Getting a message on the phone. Paul Pierce got canceled for strippers from MP.
Yes, he did
lose his job at ESPN.
He had strippers on his live.
Yeah.
Like, that's not so much canceled as like, hey, like, we have a code of conduct and this clearly violates it, you asshole. Like, you signed this and agreed to this, and then you violate. Like, some of this stuff is like, if you want to call it canceling, I'm fine with that, but it's like, what are we doing?
Like did he know the rules or did he not know the rules? Like, I feel like we got to start there.
And also going back, like, we're like, people are talking about canceling in terms of Pat McAfee. We're talking about like canceling, and that was brought up in terms of Dr. King, which was like, well, you've been canceled as people say they don't really like you or whatever else because you're probably, I'm not even gonna get into his politics, whatever else. But like, Dr. King's canceling is like, someone shot him in the fucking head and killed him. Like, these aren't equal things.
It's a little different, man. Just saying.
Like, so for people to invoke his name and talk about cancel culture is like, you are alive, breathing, and spouting these words out of your mouth. You asshole. What is wrong with you?
Yeah. You did not take your ass to Memphis, Tennessee, give a speech, had that shit immortalized.
You were not thrown in a Birmingham jail.
Yeah.
For peaceful protest.
Like, this didn't happen to you, like, you didn't get shot before you were 40 years old.
He'd be 95 today, I believe.
Wow. Oh man, like, bro, like, think like this shit happened in 1968.
Yep.
Where I would say the modern kind of reckoning year of our lifetime was like 4 years ago, right? Maybe like 2020, shit like that. 21.
I mean, you can say Ferguson, but like,
yeah, you go Ferguson. Anything after 2013.
Anything between Ferguson and George Floyd, sure, yeah,
right. And then, that's not that like far away, like. No. Like my mom was born in 1961. So,
right.
My grandma still alive. Her birthday's the end of the month. She was born in 1942.
Someone pointed this out today. Like, people talk about like, the people always like to act like this stuff is so far away or whatever else. It's like, hey, I don't know. Like, we're talking on an app where, like, Dr. King's daughter is on the fucking app talking every day. It's like, this is a recent thing. I know people talk about redlining or whatever else, like, and like communities and all this kind of stuff, and everything is like, hey man, these people are still alive to tell their stories.
Right. So often people want to retell them that, like, at least can we wait for all of them to die, like, before they start like freestyle? It's just like they playing in our face, disrespecting, I feel like. So,
well, that's how the okie doke works, right?
Yeah,
like, bro, today, I shit you not, during halftime of this Eagles Bucks game that's going on right now, where the Bucks are beating the brakes off the Eagles, right? During halftime, ABC news desk popped in to talk about like the Iowa caucus.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Trump's predicted to win, right? But before they moved on, they put up a graphic of the voters in the Iowa caucus asking, how many people believe that Joe Biden won the 2020 election legitimately? It was almost 2-1 that they believe that he did not win legitimately. Yeah, Rich. So, like, the okie doke and thing, like, is time past whatever? No.
James,
the okie doke is happening in real life. It still continues.
This shit has worked. Like, this big lie, I don't want to say it's officially worked, right? It's not, the election's not till November.
It's worked
right?
on the people that want it to work for them.
Yes, the marks have been had. Let's just say that we all watch pro wrestling that watch this show. There is a wrestling angle playing out, and it's been playing out for the last 4 years. Like, with this shit. Yeah. Whipping the bass. Incredible.
Yeah.
Wasabi
King points out it's Iowa. Yes, it's Iowa. That doesn't make it any less. It doesn't make it any less.
It's a domino effect.
Unsettling.
Iowa kind of usually tells the story on a lot of these things. Yeah, but
like, I'm aware of them. Like, we're all aware of the demographics of Iowa. We're all aware. That's still disheartening.
Yeah.
It's not surprising. It's like, wow. No one has taken a step back since the insurrection have been like, we was tripping. Nah. Like,
nah.
The only thing that was tripping was like, we didn't actually, get it done.
Man. Well,
we do not want to hand this country over to next generation of less white people. That's really what it comes down to. This is our country. That's really what that is, and we are going to hand it down to our kids.
Question, Brewhaven, you think if Biden wins, I promise we are not a political podcast, but
I mean, it sounds like
it's all around. Look, it's all around us. Let's just say that.
Like, we're 10 minutes into this show already.
If Biden wins, do you think there will be a second January 6th? Oh, absolutely. But it won't be January 6th. It will be November 4th. or whenever the fuck the election day. Hold on. When's election day? Oh, somebody look it up. November 5th?
First Tuesday of November, right?
Yeah. Everybody need to vote early. Get your mail in. All that shit. Like, if that's your...
It'll be the 5th.
Okay. Whatever you...
Great.
Whatever you want to vote for, do it legitimately. Like, that's all I ask. Like, do it legitimately. Don't be trying to vote for dead people. Don't be
doing that, because no one does that. Only people that talk about voter fraud are people that are, trying to.
I got a story for you off the air. But yeah, man, yeah. Just drive people to polls, whatever. Yes. A lot of that. But let's move it all over to some pro wrestling, man. It's been a wild fucking week on Twitter. And before I get into the real topic, which is Jack Perry returning, this stuff is getting out of control on Twitter. As far as like just everything that happened with the Tony Khan and Jinder Mahal fallout, and then Eric Bischoff jumping in, Dave Meltzer, all the grifting. Everyone's just so unhappy, I think, with... I don't know what they're really unhappy with. I have some ideas.
I mean, do you want to go blow by blow through all of the, like, not necessarily like the like quoting the tweets, being like the gist of what happened?
Yeah, like it all started kind of with Tony Khan, like, replying to the USA Network, who was talking about cage match. Obviously, in recent times, Tony Khan is, talked about cage match ratings and, using them to kind of gauge, fan reaction, so to say. And obviously, cage match has kind of been under attack ever since this has been kind of brought to the public. I saw something today where I was like, yo, this isn't normal, man. Like, what about wrestling just makes people act like this. And it's like sprung to the whole thing with Jinder Mahal getting brought up by Tony Khan, where he's saying Jinder did not win a match in the last 365 days. So how is he a legitimate contender as compared to Hook?
Right. That was brought because people were giving AEW/Hook shit for challenging Samoa Joe to a title match on this coming week's episode of Dynamite. Yeah.
Yeah. And whether that was a loud complaint or a soft complaint, it got to Tony Khan. And then from there, it exploded. People kind of read that thing however they wanted to take it, thinking he was banging on Jinder Mahal, calling him trash. I didn't read that. I thought it was a booking critique, but
it was. And to be fair, for those that took it as such, Tony Khan has in the past like shat on talent that is not his, which I think is something he should never do. So
yes, I can
he didn't.
recall
While
that.
he didn't do it this time, he's done it before. So people took it.
I think it was like that Undertaker and John Cena thing or whatever. Like,
yes.
well, I didn't like that. I thought that was kind of out of bounds. But this one was like more like a zinger at the booking. But you know, people take how they take it. From there, it kind of exploded. People were saying, "Hey, what about Abaddon?" And then he set the record straight on that. From there, you know, a lot of stuff started popping up with Eric Bischoff and you know how Bischoff gets down with his thing.
Griff.
He doesn't. Yeah, it's all a grift. Like he doesn't watch the shows. His 83 weeks content, the actual 83 week stuff, I believe has, you know, by as long as he's been doing that show, that shit's been over. So I don't like we know, you know, what's going on here. And then like you know, obviously the assault on Cage Match. We had a lot of shows this weekend. New Japan, TNA, AEW had a show. Started seeing wrestlers move around. We're going to definitely talk about the Deonna Purrazzo thing, which is just like, I think there's another portion of this that I think people have well intentions, but they're not getting either. And it all kind of like, I'm seeing just all this general unhappiness from wrestling fans, right? Mm-hmm. And it's like Wrestle Kingdom just happened. Like AEW's been on a great run. WWE's doing well. Like,
what the fuck are we all complaining about, right?
Like, what is really driving the unrest? Like, is it like just people just can't take the fact there's a second American promotion? Like, and from there, it's like just it was this grenade that was thrown in the room, so everybody has to act up. So like when I see like these journalists like saying like, oh yeah, TNA is a legit number 2 now, out of their spite, when, you know, there are people that are known to be very negative on AEW, and it's like, how are you saying this when I believe, and this is not a shot at TNA or anything, I believe they did, I don't know how many pay-per-view buys, maybe 6,000 pay-per-view buys. I'm not sure. And then like AEW's doing 140,000 pay-per-view buys. It's like, this isn't the same. Like, we don't have to lie. Mm-hmm. I don't have to say that, yeah, AEW's television deal is just as much as WWE. No, it's not. Like, we're post-fact. This shit, and it ties into we were talking about the politics stuff earlier. It was like, these people have dug their feet in and are acting up in any way possible to sow unrest. There was something, a fake arena bulletin that Brian Last was retweeting and saying it was given to him not to cheer CM Punk fans. Nick Hausman, that scoundrel, is retweeting that stuff just with no context. And it's like, these are people that are in Hausman's you know, in his case, he's calling himself a journalist, right? And you're retweeting these clearly fake like things like we've seen. And it's like, who's going through the trouble to make all of these things? And if you want to hear more, Nick Hausman getting lit on fire, listen to the Trish and Sarah podcast from last week. But yeah, man, I just have noticed this stuff, and it's like, it's sad, man. And it's discouraging. It makes you not want to like really interact with the app. I try to stay plugged in on this stuff so I understand it at least. Like, I don't want to be caught off guard and then not know what the okie doke is or whatever. So that's why I kind of, stay saying, oh, this is where this is coming from. This is this, because I'm not going to get fooled. I refuse to be the last person to find out about this stuff, to like come across that thing and actually believe it. Like, this is so far from the Facebook group, wrestling group, like what this show and this network by proxy is. It's like, we're trying to cut through all of that shit. Like,
and I think we've always been.
Yeah, like, and it's like no,
there's room for opinion on what you like and what you don't like out of whatever show you're watching that's a pro wrestling show. It's another thing to just like throw out stuff that did not happen, is not true, for the sake of making a point towards whatever your argument is. What's the point? It's dishonest. Why are we doing this? And it's like, it's all tied to all this stuff of like, the internet and the way people manipulate, the way you can manipulate the internet now, especially with the way that Twitter is like, it's so much easier to like get these things across as opposed to immediately like tossed off to the side and get a community notes put on it. Like, cause it's ultimately the more important thing is like, as you mentioned earlier, like the FBI tweeting Happy MLK Day to a person they fucking interrogated and sent a you should kill yourself letter to, right? That's far more important than fucking fake fighting. But the disinformation campaign and that kind of stuff is happening in every aspect of social media, because this isn't a pro wrestling problem. This is a people problem. The same thing when we talk about, another person gets shot unjustly by the police, and we're talking about like, what can we do as far as training and blah 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 to make sure these things never happen to these people. And it's like, you can't solve policing because this is a human problem. This is a societal issue, and everyone in the society, or everyone that's a cop and has a badge and a gun and a taser and pepper spray and a nightstick is in the society. Unless we're gonna find motherfuckers from Superman's planet to come here, we can't solve this. So yeah, man, like this is all a part of this, and this is like the thing of and it's been happening, and this is why we talk about like whoever media person has any bit of credibility or whatever else, or any kind of limelight or whatever else, that starts going one way or the other, we start getting on them. Cause like when Sam started doing this shit, we were on him. When Raj Geary started doing that shit, we get on him. Cause it's like, this is what's happening. Like when Meltzer and Seth have had their back and forth over the years, I'm always like, hey man, y'all shouldn't be doing this. Especially you, Meltzer.
All it does is like sow discord amongst the worst people that gather at the bottom of comment sections, and I'm here to tell you, the bottom part is rising now. Like like it's going up, and what's happening is smart people are using their gift for evil. Like, yeah, someone like Eric Bischoff can come along.
He knows
not a dumb guy by any stretch of the imagination. Knows what to say. Sees the way the wind is blowing on a particular issue.
Right.
Plants themselves there. Whoever listens to Eric Bischoff makes it, roll down the stream. Eventually it reaches someone like Tony Khan. Tony Khan goes back and forth with them, and ultimately it's like, yeah, in the moment it's kind of entertaining. You see Tony Khan light the guy on fire, whatever, right? But people don't remember Tony Khan ultimately like getting the correction off. People just remember the flame war, the gathering, this is why I don't like them. This is why I don't do anything with this. This is why, like, and it all gets like swallowed up.
It's me and you. The thing that me and you have, and why we bonded so much over the years, and why we became friends, and why we do this show, and why I think the show works so well, is because I think the 10-year anniversary you mentioned, like, me and you have good memories.
Mm-hmm.
So like when people start doing this, and I was actually saying this to somebody, because they're like, this is oddly specific how you remember this. I tried to tell my doctor about like these things, or as far as like remembering my medical history or whatever. So I'm remembering these oddly specific things. And I was like, and she was like, "It's odd that you it's like, oh, it's interesting you remember all this stuff." And I was like, "Yeah, it's good. It's good to have a good memory until you remember all this stuff, and you have to and like you're in relationships with people or whatever else, and like they feel like you're keeping score as opposed to just being friends. Because like I just remember the shit. I just remember it. So it's like I'm not keeping score, or at least I'm not trying to. I just happen to remember. So when people do when people with me, over the time when I get in arguments with people that I know, and then I'm just like, what about this, and this? And be like, how do you remember? I just remember. I'm sorry, I just do. So like, and I use the points for who wins and who loses and who was right and who was wrong or whatever else, and all this kind of stuff as like who I should listen to and who I should continue to ignore. Those will be 100% right. I just tend to gravitate with people that are more right than not, or have or I feel like their process for how they judge things are better than others over time. Well, obviously, you're going to get into wrong results, but that's the process of results that I talk about on the show every so often. So this is a part of that. Like, that's the reason why, I over the decade, I've just loathed how the debate shows that were political shows have turned into the debate shows that are the sports shows. So you're not actually learning or anything substantive. You're just learning like this person, these two people on whatever issue yelling at each other back and forth, and like they go back and forth over and over. No one's ever just lays it down. It's like, all right, you won the war on this, right? Like somewhere somebody, we're not doing it. Somewhere somebody is still trying to hold up the Darren Williams, Chris Paul thing, right? You know what I'm saying? Like it's always, and obviously I'm just talking about, I said this poppy, but like, there is the ongoing Jordan in LeBron thing going, right?
Right.
There is still like this Durant or Steph thing, or Durant and LeBron thing, or Steph and LeBron thing that happens on the internet all the time. And it's like, this is so fucking stupid. Time has passed on this stuff. We know who is better. You just like this person more. It's fine that you like this person more. That person was fucking awesome. You can have your taste or whatever else, but like, we don't have to do this back and forth in shit posts on, oh, LeBron at 39, rimmed a dunk. Oh, Steph miss a free throw. What are we doing? Are you enjoying what you're watching? Because I've enjoyed watching Steph Curry and LeBron James. I've enjoyed watching these Seth Rollins matches on pay-per-view. I've enjoyed watching Gunther on pay-per-view, right? Like, I've enjoyed Rey Mysterio come out here on pay-per-view every few months. I enjoyed Bad Bunny. I've enjoyed Orange Cassidy. Do y'all enjoy any of this? And that's your overall point. It's like, all this stuff happening. It's like, do y'all enjoy this? It's like, the algorithm is making people miserable. And people don't realize the algorithm is meant to thrive off negativity. Once you learn that, it's so much easier to be like, oh, this is bullshit. This is all bullshit. This is not a real place anyway. It, like, the person that just dunked on me and retweeted and quote tweeted me or whatever else, saying that like one thing is wrong, whatever else. Like, if I saw this person face to face, they would not talk to me like this.
Right. There was,
we have fucked up human communication interaction. And the thing is, like, these things were meant to make it faster and you to see some of the things that you never would have saw. And ultimately, like, Twitter, TikTok, all social media, at its best, is fucking amazing. Right? Think of all the memes you save to your phone. Think of all the videos you save to your phone. Think of
Think about the people that you meet.
Right. Think of all the shows and content and things and media you never otherwise would have seen if not for the algorithm knows you like this one, like something, and it found somebody that made something on the other side of the fucking planet that we know that you really think you may enjoy, right? For you to stay on the app. But on the other side is that for you to stay on the app, you also got to give you shit that will make you roll your eyes or make you blow up. And that's the trade-off. And sometimes the trade-off ain't fucking worth it.
Yeah. It just seems like the last 4-5 years since AEW's existed, it's been like Yeah, I don't know if it was Rich that was or Joe Lanza was talking about it. Like the WWE AEW thing is worse than pretty much anything. Like because like the amount of people that are involved.
We have more weapons now.
The ease of the ease of communication.
Right.
Facebook groups, TikTok on or wrestling on TikTok, wrestling on Instagram, wrestling on Twitter, wrestling on Reddit. These are all distinct places with their own kind of languages. Communication style, yes, flavor of hate, all that. And it's like, and then YouTube, I didn't mention.
Oh God.
So like it's crazy. Like I saw something with Deonna Purrazzo, and this isn't anything new that she's talked about, and she addressed it, and there were people making comments about her appearance, her weight, her ring gear, contrasting it to WWE. WWE wouldn't let something like this happen, and I've seen a lot of.
I guess we're forgetting the part where, and we're also forgetting the part where, she was in WWE less than 3 years ago.
Correct. And then I saw a lot of people obviously coming to her aid. She spoke up for herself. Shout out to her for doing that. But something I think, when you're speaking on behalf, if you want to go up for Deonna Purrazzo in this situation, I promise you, uploading a picture of her and going on about how sexy she is not the answer.
No, it's not.
I kept seeing this over and over and over, and then she's a total smoke show. Like that's not the correct counter to that.
Hey, bro,
that's this person, they deserve dignity. That's right. Where you got to begin.
So bro, I typed in Deonna and then typed in the first 4 letters of her name, right? And what pops up in the automatic thing is Deonna Purrazzo weight, Deonna Purrazzo body.
Right.
I didn't even get a chance to type in her fucking name. You know what I'm saying?
We see the combos. All this stuff is related.
Yeah, and because now she was in WWE, in NXT and WWE. She went off to TN Impact, and now she's been thrust into this,
the wrestling war.
She's been thrust into this, and it sucks, man. It sucks. And I mean, not always, but she's gotten it for years. But now it's going to be amplified because people deem this to be an Outlaw Mud Show, and therefore Outlaw Mud Show has these optic images or these optic problems. And optic problems is, one of the athletes doesn't look like how you want him to look.
Incredible.
Yeah. Fucking sucks, man. It's it sucks. It just does. It's always sucked. And this is another chapter of it. It is going to be another chapter next week, and next week after that. And as you mentioned, all these shows, AEW's doing well. Post MJF title change is they've done well. WWE.
I don't bring up all this stuff to claim to even have the answer for it. I just have to bring it up,
right?
Because it's I don't know what we do.
Sometimes you got to check in.
Happier.
Yeah. Sometimes you got to check in and be like, "What the hell are we doing?"
Yeah, I feel like I just shake the baby a little bit on this. Hey, yo,
that's a crazy. You got to shake the baby.
Shake the table a little bit.
Yeah, please, please, a table, okay. not a.
Yeah.
This man out here with this infant CTE. Whew.
Yeah. You gotta shake the table a little bit on this because it's as you mentioned, I think the rest, the companies are doing their things right now, and it's just and I think there's a lot of exciting stuff to come. WrestleMania season's happening. The Road to Revolution is happening. New Japan has some things kind of bubbling that could be interesting or whatever. But man, you would never know it. The way people are just going to war over anything right now, and it's it's a war zone. And I'm not 100% innocent. If I see somebody out here lacking or whatever, I'll get them. But I'm not trying to ruin their lives and completely just fuck them up. Like, no, man. Like, that's like, it's just disheartening. But to Jack Perry, as I was mentioning, someone else who's getting a lot of this shit from a specific, corner. The Young Bucks thing that also happened this week. They got named as Sting's final opponent, and man, people were upset. But yeah, we'll start with Jack Perry. Jack Perry returned at Battle in the Valley. Big beard, real beard. Jack Perry jumps out wearing the Bushi mask. So he was front row. The security didn't even know what was happening at first, and then they got tipped off after. They were about to try to like really separate him and shit. But he jumps on Shota Umino, gives him a sick looking knee, pulls an AEW contract out his back pocket, rips it up, and completely works people into thinking wrestling is real in a way that I don't know what Jack Perry. Bro, I was talking to Josh. I was talking to you about it. I'm like, bro, he has people right now, and he has them out of like, the way Eric Bischoff is looking at it. Like, as far as like, I'm going to make this shit work for me. I think Jack Perry's going to do it in a much more productive fashion. Let's just say that. And this whole thing with him ripping the contract up, it was like, people have bitten on this in a way that, in a modern angle, they just hook, line, and sinker. They can go wherever they want with it now. Have you caught wind of this stuff, James?
I heard something about he ripped up a contract or whatever else, and people were like, it got some type of buzz, and for me, I was like, wait a second. So like, Kalen DeBoer, who just became Alabama's head coach, just succeeded Nick Saban. Like, I'm sure he had to get bought out by the University of Washington, or by Alabama buying out University of Washington's contract to then sign him. So you mean to tell me all Kalen DeBoer had to do was pull up a copy of his contract and rip it up and everything's A-okay? You fucking Neanderthal morons. Like, of course it's fucking fake. You think these people are... We spent the past, especially with Jack Perry, right? Because it's bitch with CM Punk. We know they have legal. What are we doing? Like, I don't know if it's just like people got lost in that or whatever else. I don't know. Maybe they did. Like, then congrats to you, because like you got lost in a way that like I just never can. And when things like this happen, I'm always, it pulls me out of my speech, because like you're pointing out how this is not real. When you do that, like when Eddie Kingston says this is real, I'm like, you're by you saying that it makes me remember that it's not real. Stop.
But some of the stuff I saw were just so many people just angry that he returned. He hope he gets fucked up and like his life ruined. Great comment from Brewhaven. The reason is because they think CM Punk is their father. Yes, there's some of that, that's in there.
Yeah, I guess.
So like he's getting the working, like, hey, this is a good angle. He's getting that. He's getting like this internet militia working against his every move, and they're getting wrapped up in it. Yes. This is a great point, Brewhaven. Yes. People have more anger for Jack Perry than Matt Riddle. Yes. Absolutely.
Can I?
They act like Jack Perry broke the law.
Rich,
shit.
I'm not gonna say the joke that I admit to you about Matt Riddle offline the other day or yesterday, but like I'm gonna give you another version. Like Matt Riddle shows up to the arena, and like all I think of for New Japan Pro Wrestling of America, all I think of is like the skit that's been going around anytime someone is a sex pest. He's like, they got your mans. They got your mans on sex assault charges. The nigga you be hanging with. Your homeboy, the whole time he knew. You didn't feel bad or nothing? Like, yes, yes, he has appeared to have gotten less shit than, and you know what that is also? It's also because the WWE run him out there and didn't give a fuck until he got, into the situation.
The airport.
At the end of last year with the, at the airport, like, these people like don't actually like have moral compasses and like and are discerning or critical thinkers, what happens is like these people are like, all right, well, if the football team lets him play, if the fake wrestling promotion lets him fake fight, then that means he's innocent. No, that's not how that works. You have to think for yourself.
Look, I don't know whether that's a good or bad thing, like for some of these people.
I mean, given what we just talked about, you're probably right. But I'm saying people do the old, like, you know, it's complicated or it's not an easy decision. It comes, you know, so they don't know the answer, so they rely on the institution to therefore make the decision for them in their mind. That's what happens.
Woo. I want to bring it back to Jack Perry. I'm going to tell you why I'm really excited about this. I thought there was a palpable buzz behind this thing. Twitter lit up. Obviously, I had been wondering when Jack Out Loud was going to be able to come back on Twitter the last like couple weeks, especially since the Devil's reveal. I'm like, all right, man, what are we doing, bro? Like, and he finally shows up. I'm a big fan of the guy. I always have been. And I think because I don't know what it is right now. Like, I don't know if this is him setting up just a match for Battle in the Valley. I don't know if he's going to hang around for like 3 months, 6 months, something like that. I'm here to tell you, if Jack Perry gets like a 6-month excursion mid-career per se, he will wrestle more like often these 6 months than he's done the 4 years he's been in AEW.
Oh, I thought you were going to say like if he wrestles for 6 months and he's healthy, like he presumably will wrestle more than CM Punk did his entire AEW tenure.
I wasn't going to do that, but you can have that one.
Okay, I know. I was trying to figure out how you was going with that one. Okay,
but I think this guy had showed up on national TV when he was 22 years old. Yeah, he's 26 now. I think his development thus far has been admirable, right? As far as it being an in-ring talent.
Yeah.
Character, promo stuff, whatever. Everybody wants to see him do the weakest part of his thing. I don't think we need to focus on that. I think you need to focus on the strengths. And what he is an awesome wrestler. Oh, my God. Jinder Mahal and Seth Rollins went 20. Jesus Christ. But I think Jack Perry will get a workload like he's never gotten or hasn't gotten since the independent circuit. Wrestling less than once a week for 4 years. How much can you really grow? New environment for this guy, new expectations, kind of like in the best case scenario, he joins the New Japan Cup. He does a couple tours. He gets a tag team partner. He joins a unit. He does the G1 even. This guy, when he comes back, just looking at him coming into AEW, he's the perfect guy. And I don't know if, like, you know, folks at like New Japan don't, if they're resistant to Jack Perry. I don't know if it's because they don't feel like they want to have people dumped off on them that are either in need of some kind of rehab or anything like that. But I'm like, yo, everyone, when it comes to New Japan, the popular topic is how people are walking out the door, not walking in the door. Jack Perry going over there with the people that are driving this hate train against him, people that like him, and he does have a pretty big fan base, they're definitely going to check in on this guy and like see what he's doing. So like, I kind of compared it to Tetsuya Naito. People saw Tetsuya Naito one way before he went to Mexico. Mm-hmm. He was obviously a great wrestler. He's better than Jack Perry before, you know, Jack's leaving now or whatever, but he was also way older than Jack Perry too. Yeah. I think, you know, and then when he comes back, let him work out like kind of a new presentation and everything off like that. Like elsewhere, I think this is beneficial for New Japan. And I think if it's me, I call and say, hey, how can we keep this guy there, work something out, we'll figure out all his finishes, and then re-debut him at Wembley next year. Or this coming year, or whatever.
I knew what you meant. I mean, sure. Right? Like, it's... I don't know I don't know what the place for him will be right now if he were to come right back to AEW, right? So that's fine. And this also depends on if he wants to do it, right? Like, it's not like, this seems like something he wants to do. Like, I don't think Tony Khan has punished him and say, you'll now have to take it to the Naga dojo, or you got to take it to the LA dojo. I don't think that's how that works.
You will hit the squats in front of Yuji Nagata.
Right. You like, nah, you gotta, you saw that shit that Show hit Yo with at Wrestle Kingdom. You gotta now go take that from Yo and I'm sorry, not Yo, but Ren. You gotta now take that from Ren and you gotta start hitting the push-ups now. But I just think I don't have a problem with this. I'm glad he's back. He's gonna have some matches, and I'm interested to see what he does. And what Keepin It Strong Style has, as far as like reviews on it, on the road twos and everything else. And the US stuff that's going to be going on. I'm assuming he's going to be part of as well. And there is a ready-made storyline for him the second he comes back.
Yep.
Like he can finish the story with Christian. He can get he can go win. No, I'm funny. Like he can go he can win the TNT title from Christian.
As a babyface or what? Like,
I know there's months for now. There's months to figure it out.
Oh, okay.
Months to figure it out.
I think he should be probably like putting all he can into really like differentiating like all right, there's the before I left, the before Wembley 2023 and after. So like I like the beard, I like the look, like it looks way grimier, grungier, and like I think the guy like has a lot of talent, and like we'll see if he ultimately ends up as a top star one day. But I think he's someone that like will outlast while other people like rise, and it's like he's a slow, steady climber. I think we're gonna look up, and he's gonna be like eventually like 30 years old, 32, and then it's like, oh shit, like he's been doing it for years and years, and he's got all these opponents, all this history, and I think he's going to be real for a lot of years. Did we get a chance to see what his body looked like now? No, because he had the jacket on still.
Obviously he had the beard, but like it looked like the same person.
His face a little bigger.
Do you think that was just the beard though?
Possibly.
Yeah, because one thing is like, he comes to New Japan, cool. But he comes to New Japan and he's still the same size he was. He's going to be in there with people that are going to all be bigger than him. Because all the LA Dojo dudes are a lot bigger than him.
Shota Umino is gigantic compared to him.
Yeah. That's what I meant. Like, it's like, the thing with Jungle Boy is like, he has height, but like his frame is, he just is like.
Got that Durant.
I don't know about that as much as it's like, it just don't look like he like really values lifting, like going into lifting weights, and like whatever it is, what it is. But if you're gonna go to New Japan, that's gonna matter. That's gonna be a thing. If you're gonna go on excursion, that's gonna be a thing.
Yeah,
because he's gonna be in there. Like he's gonna be in there with fucking Gabe Kidd and Connors and shit.
Like, and like, to Jack Perry's credit, he not no bitch. Like he stood up to all that roosh, chopping and shit like that. But I would recommend. His chest getting caved in what was happening though. Yeah, I would recommend that he does put that work in, with that as well, like on the body, on the on the physique, just for his main event. And like we see it all the time. Guys get bigger like as they grow into main eventers. Like
I mean,
it's kind of strange how that always happens.
He's still 26. It ain't, people's bodies are going to, like, he's not going to look like this when he's 30.
Right. But yeah, really exciting. And everyone's buzzing. So, like, if they're doing him and Shota Umino, that's awesome. Like, those guys are, like, right there. Like, and, you need new things to happen with these guys for future Forbidden Door things and stuff like that. It can't just be, oh man, we're just waiting. Who's Okada going to wrestle this time and everything like that? Like the new guys got to get in the mix on that shit. Yoda Suzuki's got to get in the mix. Yep. Shota Umino's got to get in the mix. I wrote my top 10 matches from last year and published it on socialsuplex.com. And man, Shota Umino, like he's fucking great, bro. Like I watched that match he had with Ospreay, and it was just like it as impressed as we were with Will coming out of the Kenny match. It was similar, like to the Shota Umino and Will match. It was like Will was in the Kenny role this time, and Umino was like just fighting through, surviving, firing up, people living and dying with this guy.
Was Red Shoes the ref?
He was the ref.
Okay.
Yeah, I would definitely seek that out if you haven't. That ended up being my number 4 match of last year. And I just watched it the other day. So, but yeah, Battle in the Valley. I yeah, I had missed it at the time, but Battle in the Valley, I watched like the second half of the show. I want to say pretty much all the important stuff. Gabe Kidd and Eddie Kingston for a count out, it ruled. This guy Gabe Kidd is a menace to society.
Yeah.
For one, we can't put him in the room with no Queen Amanada, none of that. You know, we gotta hold this man back. But I think Gabe Kidd is sensational on the mic. I think he has an in-ring style that lends to a lot of brawling. Mm-hmm. Like I don't think he's gonna, he's not gonna work rate wow you or anything like that. But I think pro wrestling has kind of been subtly looking for someone to act like Conor McGregor, but they've never really found the right guy. Because of like partly no one's gonna get the accent like that. There's just like there's a lot of imitation. This thing with Gabe Kidd, this seems like this is who this guy is, and like he grew up in an area with tons of Gabe Kidds that he was around his whole life. He has uncles that talk just like him and shit like that. Like this guy is just light years ahead of David Finlay. It's like, I don't know, man. Like even Will Ospreay, yes, Brewhaven. Will Ospreay tried a lot of the Conor McGregor stuff. Yep.
Becky Lynch tried it. Yeah, it's a thing. Yeah,
it's not the same as Gabe Kidd. It is not the same. I promise you. He had a match with Eddie Kingston.
He seems like he's one slip. He's like one slip of the tongue away from saying a slur. That's what it seems like. Like he's almost out of there.
You gotta walk a fine line.
Right. Like it would be like if MJF was mad all the time. That's kind of the way I would put it.
Right.
And also less smart. Except like it's like cause the thing with MJF is like MJF is clearly an intelligent person, and it's like knows the limits on this. Gabe Kidd also knows the limits, but it's almost like the Kobe Covington thing. That's actually more what it's like. It's like the Kobe Covington where it's like he's doing a Conor imitation, but he might be too dumb to realize that like he's stepping into a hornet's nest. And that's what I get with Gabe Kidd. Like it don't seem like he's smart to realize that like this is actually dangerous to play like this.
Right.
Yeah.
I jumped in and caught Julia against Trish Adora. They won about 13 minutes. It was okay, but it was clearly lack of chemistry there, I think. And it was like these people have never wrestled each other in like totally different styles. It feels like, and Julia to me is someone that you just don't throw Julia in the ring and drop her somewhere and it's like, go do your best match. Like Julia don't like work like that to me.
That's what I've been saying. You know what I'm saying? That's what I've been telling you for years. Like the whole thing of like she may go overseas, whatever. I'm like, okay, she go over there. Like she's not the way her wrestling style is not built like someone like a Kyrie or an Asuka or Io, where like there's such athleticism and coordination and footwork to where like you can kind of fill that into any style sort of seamlessly. Like she's a brawler. She's a brawler submission person or whatever else. And like sometimes her instincts towards wanting to do mat-based wrestling kind of like can wear on you at the beginning of matches. But like ultimately like at heart like she's a really, really like she's a badass tough woman that's having like these brawls or whatever else. Like these really like drop you on your head, drop you on your neck, throw punches and slaps and kicks and all that kind of stuff and big strikes. Like it's not about like it ain't Hazuki and Mayu.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Pretty. It ain't that.
Only thing pretty in the ring is her. Like that's
yeah. So
like she I'll tell you what she does have though. She has the aura.
Yeah, she has presence. She's always had presence.
I know the aura thing is overused and stuff like that, but when her music hit, they knew who she was. She came out, they clapped for her, and like the entrance, and I was like, man, if she goes anywhere, can she just at least keep the music? Like, because I know I ain't never going to enjoy it as much wherever she goes, but just keep the music. So the next match we had was a tag team match. It was the Chosen Bros. It was Matt Riddle and a mystery partner. It turned out to be Jeff Cobb, and the New Japan production staff literally spoiled it during Matt Riddle's entrance. They put Jeff Cobb up on the screen. I was like, what the fuck? And then they were taking on TMDK of Zack Sabre Jr. and Bad Dude Tito. It went about 10 minutes, and man, all throughout this match I was watching it. Riddle doesn't get a bad reaction, really. It's kind of tepid response, but then he starts wrestling, starts getting cheered for, and then ultimately, like, he has a positive kind of response or whatever. And on the whole time watching, I'm like, why is he like he's so raw? This guy is so raw in the ring. And it's just like, I can't never love this dude like how I want to like embrace him, and it's like, he's going to out wrestle the dirt around him or whatever. And as my light dies in front of me, but I'll correct that in a second. But yeah, man, him teaming with Jeff Cobb, I got like kind of alarm bells going off. Will's obviously leaving. Yep. And do the Chosen Bros thing. He's clearly in United Empire wear. When he's out there, meaning Jeff Cobb, they got the win. And I'm like, man, are they going to pull we're under new management now, and then Riddle is going to take over for Ospreay with the Empire and stuff like that? If that happens, I think that's a pretty creative angle. And I think it is if you're losing Will Ospreay and you replace him with Matt Riddle, look, it's not the same thing, but it's like, it'll hold you.
Yeah. How were the exchanges between Riddle and Sabre?
They were rolling around the mat, very physical. It felt like Evolve from like 2017. A lot of people were saying. And he was just flying around the ring. He didn't go crazy or anything, but it was just like he's clearly in an environment where he feels like tough and aggressive again. Like, he doesn't feel like
a comedy guy,
the goofy Matt Riddle. Like,
right.
So, and then if they're gonna use him in Japan, I can tell you this: they're not gonna give a fuck about that over there. So like everything that's around them. So lock in. As I mentioned,
I'm gonna tell you this right now. How many shows do you think it'll take for him to get over? A weekend?
He will
first
get
night?
over. Yeah, first night out there.
Yeah. I pretty much.
Like MMA style, wrestles barefoot, still got the long hair. It's like, what if Kerry Von Erich could wrestle? Like, I don't like, it's always been like that. It would legitimately whoop your ass. Like, it would be impossible for Matt Riddle not to get over in New Japan.
I mean, and that's the reason why Triple H made that call over to Evolve when Riddle and Keith Lee were on their way to New Japan, because they were like, at that time, there was no AEW. No one domestic competitor was New Japan. They did not want those two guys there. Yeah.
Yep. Jon Moxley and Shingo Takagi in a no DQ match. This was awesome. Shingo showed up in the jeans and the knee pads over and the jeans tucked into the boots. I was fucking screaming. I was like, bro, it feels like Shingo is like, been like, yeah, man, I've been watching these American street fights like my whole life. I always want to do one of these shits. So, yeah, I'm showing up like this. Come as you are. Started a little slow, but they were setting up a lot of the stuff. Essentially, we're going to go all around this fucker, and then we're going to get in the ring and then do all these big near falls. And they did that. That definitely went in the notebook. I was very pleased with this match. I see some people trying to draw some match of the year buzz. I'm not there with it, but I thought it was still really good. Moxley went over.
How bloody was it?
Shingo was the first one bleeding, which was kind of a shock to me. It was pretty bloody, I'd say so.
Okay.
Mox, of course, later, got the blood and all that, but it was kind of like this dopey match because I was like, all right, Shingo just kind of did a random challenge to Mox, so there's not a really heavy storyline. I'm being told that Shingo has indeed done these street fights before, but
I remember, like,
yeah,
he did
it almost seemed like an all-star exhibition.
He did America, so
So, like, the big news out of this was Jon Moxley getting on the mic afterwards and challenging Tetsuya Naito, saying there was one match that he's wanting for this year, and that's against Tetsuya Naito. And it made me think back to the G1 when they faced each other, and Jon Moxley got the win that time, right? Mm-hmm. And that makes me think Tetsuya Naito was set up to win at the Dome. Obviously, we have the pandemic and shit.
Right.
Was Moxley a planned opponent from that finish? Like the 2019 G1? Was that was this match already supposed to happen years ago, like as part of that whole thing before the world shut down?
Probably, and also, like, Moxley's going to face all these guys eventually.
Right.
Yeah, so, yeah.
And I've, talked in group chats. I'm like, well, why don't they send Tetsuya Naito over here? But they're doing it now, so good. So Naito's got to get through. Obviously, whoever wins the New Japan Cup is facing Sonata. Also, if this is an IWGP title match, that'd be interesting. Obviously, they're getting Moxley booked in Chicago, in America. This is a pay-per-view style show. It's an AEW building, literally, that New Japan is running this. So, like, I just want to know, what would they complain about now, James?
I don't know. I have an idea, though. I just imagine it will be the transition from talking about like that card or the partnership to then talking about like the number of gaijin that didn't want to wrestle New Japan anymore wanted to come to AEW. That would always stick with them, and rightfully so, I guess.
Yeah, I had a convo this past week on Twitter about that.
Yeah.
Speaking of that,
I gotta remember when it comes to this stuff, like the wrestlers do not have agency.
Right. Even if they get the money, they gotta just act like robots, and
as every single person. I mean, Rich, this ain't just AEW thing. Like, it's every single person like left out of Ice Ribbon to go to Stardom or elsewhere, but start their own promotion in prominence, right? Get their own distribution deal. But like, if any of them go to Stardom or sign on to Stardom, then like these people had no agency. It's just it's tribalistic stuff, man. It just happens. Like, these people are all like the people that you enjoy watching and doing the wrestling, like that's all they're good at. They don't think for themselves. They don't have brains, or they do have brains, but apparently they're all scrambled from the wrestling. So like they can't decide what's best for them at that particular point in time or going forward. What's best for them.
The almighty, everything is the eye be the beholder. You keep their fate.
Right. And I'm wrong. Like, I get the initial feeling of like, I like what they're doing right now. I don't want them to do anything else or go elsewhere and not do what they're doing. I get that. But it always comes back to there's some big bad that is like pulling the strings.
Yeah. Kazuchika Okada and Will Ospreay had a match, 28 minutes. I think they gave us like the 75-80% version in this one.
So 5 stars?
Nah.
Okay. You said the 75-80% version. Like, bro, we've seen them get 5 stars in like 20 minutes or some shit like that before.
This wasn't that. Like,
Okay.
it wasn't bad or anything, but it started very slow. Like,
okay.
Very slow. And it was like, hey, man, what's going on over here? And then, like, the video package for this, it's fucking hilarious. So, like, they have, like, it grayed out kind of in the background where you can see 1 Okada, 0 Ospreay, 2 Okada, 3, 4, and they're showing every time Okada beats him, essentially. And then it runs up to, like, 7 before Will gets on the board. And then, like, Ospreay starts winning, like, 1 dirty win, 2, and then it's like something in the G1 or whatever. And then it's like, by the time I'm getting to this, I'm like, all right, man, who the fuck am I supposed to root for? Like, Will's on his way out of the company, so it's like he's gonna put over Okada again. And it's like, all right, the story is just Okada just has whooped my ass. Like, that's the story. Like,
he wouldn't have the promotion.
Like, I've whooped you. Like, I birthed you in this before you got in this promotion. I whooped your ass your entire tenure here. You caught me slipping once. You cheated to beat me, and then ultimately I sent you packing. I was like, inspiring. You remember the G1 final? Like, yeah, this could be like Masawa and Kobashi. Like, maybe he's chasing him or whatever.
And they were like, we were answering this. Like, ultimately, the answer is like Will Ospreay get a chance to finish the story because he decided to take his ass to Chicago and Jacksonville. That's what happened. That would have been the story, but it's not. But the story ain't gonna happen now because he left.
The story is Mr. Barry.
I'm tired of telling this story. My body hurts. I'm tired of being over there. I'm going here now. It's over. It's time for me to make some real bread, bruv.
The real story is Mr. Barry told me this number that was out of this fucking world. Right. That's the numbers, not the 7, not the 2, the fucking $3.5 million a year. That's the fucking shit right there. But yeah, I was kind of like
Ospreay saw that number, was like, oh, elevated, bruv.
So they didn't go crazy.
I'm in a new tax bracket.
Yeah, they still had a really, good match or whatever, obviously, these guys. But it would be funny if, like, this wasn't just Ospreay's farewell. This was Okada's too.
Are we going to talk about this now?
We absolutely are.
So apparently Okada has trademarked the Rainmaker over here. Now, that's interesting for multiple reasons. One, because go ahead.
Why would he do that?
I mean, best case scenario, right? Best case scenario, it is like the equivalent of when Brock Lesnar used to like stick Vince up for money and will like go into the USADA testing and be like, look, bro, yeah. I might do this unless you pony up the money, right? You're like, hey man, you see I got this registered trademark for the US to wrestle over there with my signature move. Don't think I won't. Even though I won't, don't think I won't. Like, it's a leverage play at work. I mean, at best, it's a leverage play. Or you could actually be going. And if he goes, I already told Josh and Jeremy at Keepin It Strong Style, like, hey man, I don't know like what y'all transition is on this, but like if Okada does become all elite, like I don't know the fuck y'all do with like y'all Keepin It Strong Style logo, seeing it, you're like, it is the Rainmaker pose. Like, do y'all then move on to Tetsuya Naito laying on his side and holding the fist in the air? Do y'all move to like Shingo Takagi folding his folding his arms, or what do we do? Do you go to like Desperado doing the splits? Like, do you go to Master Wato? Do you go to Master Wato doing the hand? The hand? Like, what do you do? Like he's like he's Grandmaster Flash? What do you do here?
Bro, and they got. There's one other thing that you didn't consider, James. They got them banners. They just printed up. Josh told me, he reminded me of that.
Is that why they didn't laugh when I said that shit?
Probably.
Ooh, yeah. I forgot about that part. I didn't even think about that part. My bad,
Right.
Josh.
Yeah. They'll tell you more details on that.
Because neither one of them laughed at that shit. I gotta tell you, I was fucking dying when I thought of that. Well, like, bruh, y'all have to change y'all whole shit up. And I remember saying to him, hey man, yeah, like, Jeremy, don't let Josh talk you into going to that Anoki wrestling pose and shit. Don't let him get you with that. Don't do it.
Just use Sonata standing there not moving.
Oh my god.
You know, Dick Togo pulling out the garrote wire.
Terrible.
Shit like that. But yeah, man.
Yano with the DVD.
You could do that. Man.
Yeah, man. I don't know, man. I don't know. But because the thing for me is, like, I just can't imagine him leaving, because, like, one, he's married to someone that, like, I think is more famous than him. But how's that gonna work? I don't know how to, he just had a kid recently, last year or two.
Right.
I don't know how any of this is gonna work,
Private planes. Lots of them.
Like, maybe it's a situation where, like, he gets, it's the inverse of the Ospreay deal, where it's like, I'm still New Japan, but I do AEW pay-per-views and dates or whatever else, something like that. Like, I do like 12 or 18 AEW shows a year, something like that, right? I can't imagine him just, like, his home, like, his base for pro wrestling is, like, not Japan. I just can't imagine it.
Bro.
It just seems weird.
Like, I'm jumping to the Fed.
That's at play, right?
I don't know, like, I guess, like, if you're...
Well, actually, is it? If he trademarks Rainmaker, is it?
If he trademarks Rainmaker, then maybe he can license it to WWE.
Would they want it?
I don't know. Of course. Like, their whole thing would be to try to keep people how they are. Cody's the blueprint now, I think.
Okay.
Like, personally, I don't know. Yeah, that would be interesting. I wouldn't want to necessarily see that, but I don't want Okada to go anywhere. Let's just say that. Can I just put that out there?
Same. I know people will probably listen to this for thinking, like, we're being nasty about it. Like, I don't want him in AEW necessarily. Like, I want him for some dates. I don't want him, like, this to be his home base. No.
Yeah, that shit ain't right, bro. Like
he needs to stay there, and he needs to wrestle all them dudes and basically help make all them dudes. That's what he needs to do. Yoda, Tsuji, Shota Umino, Ren Narita, Yuya Yamura, he needs to go there and he needs to stay there and wrestle all them dudes after he beats Naito or whatever else, and he needs to be the person that puts all of them on the map. That's what needs to happen. It needs to be Naito and Okada building that generation. The same way that Tanahashi built them.
Right. And Lord knows he could use some fresh opponents.
Right.
And those four guys are like, if they'll ever fucking like push the button on one of them, like they're ready. They can do some things or whatever. So, let's go to AEW Dynamite last week in Jacksonville, Daly's Place, special building. I could feel it through the screen. Everyone on Twitter all day was kind of celebrating. Whenever they're at Daly's, I was like, man, I think if you're an AEW fan, you should, if you're of the means, go at one point. Go be a part of that building or whatever, the American Corrigan Hall, that has seen so many great matches there. And like that shit carried a lot of people through the pandemic. I was like getting emotional, like, kind of looking, I was like, damn, because I started thinking, I was like, bro, this is it in 2020. Like we wasn't doing shit. Like we was hanging out at the house all week, and then wrestling's on, or AEW Dark's on, Dark Elevation's on, and it was just like that fucking building, and like that shit means something to people like in that company, and like it's a rite of passage. I think the first time new wrestlers get to go to Dailies, and I'm pretty excited when like someone new kind of walks through. there and gets to do their thing. So, and that kind of started the show with Claudio Castagnoli making his debut there, taking on Hangman Page. A match we did not see during the Team Warfare last year. This was awesome way to begin the show. They were immediately in the ring, running it inside of like minute 2. I fuck with this match hard.
Yeah, this match is great. And, like, I don't know if we ever, like, I'm sure, like, I already know how you feel about this, but, like, you know, when, like, Cesaro first came over here to become Claudio or whatever else, you recognized the talent. You obviously knew, you know, this is one of the, you know, more talented guys that we have, but, like, you weren't exactly enthused about it. You didn't know whether or not he was going to come over here and, like, embrace this shit in a way that, like, you know, some guys have and haven't, right? That's the best way to put it. And, like, I like, between, like, the Kingston and Moxley stuff, the ROH run, the Continental Classic, the BCC Elite stuff, and now this is, like, I'm so fucking glad he left WWE. I'm so fucking glad. Like, don't get me wrong, like, that's where I, like, grew to respect him and, like, was just in awe of his talent, especially, you know, in like, the middle of last decade. But, like, he's not that freakish of an athlete compared to then, but, like, he's had so many, like, great matches, and, like, I just love, like, his role. I just love his role in this company, and he never would have gotten that role in WWE. It just never was in the cards for him, and, like, he just a fucking, like, they put his ass to work, and he's done nothing but yep, I'm just here just to do it all, and, like, I've just enjoyed his tenure in AEW. Like, I don't know if he's like a lieutenant or something backstage or whatever else, but everyone loves him. But, like, I imagine, like, they hold him in such high regard back there. I just imagine they do.
Yeah. Hangman ended up getting the win off of 2 buckshot lariats in this thing, and this was like,
and he needed both of them.
Yeah, this is like, you know, he's coming with the big mustache, also, and, like, seemed like he's getting, you know, something rolling again, which kind of got explored later on in the show. From there, we had an 8-man tag, and it was to honor Brody Lee. They played a big Brody Lee package. And all that. We had Orange Cassidy, Adam Copeland, Dustin Rhodes, and Preston Vance, who came out with his best gear on, taking on Lance Archer and Cage, Tola Leona, and Bishop Khan. This is a party 8-man tag, kind of very fun. A lot of guys, like, you know, matching off, squaring up with each other. Interesting, kind of to see Lance Archer just with so much presence in there. Adam Copeland getting to, you know, work against Khan and Brian Cage and Archer, and, like, he's coming in. Talk about somebody that's been a delight.
Yep, another one.
Yeah, and this whole thing kind of broke down to where Archer, you know, in Gates of Agony, and, you know, the whole Mogul Embassy kind of got into it. I kind of find it funny. I saw Prince Nana and Jake Roberts were managing together. I wonder what that strategy meeting was like between Roberts and Nana. So I hit the dance, and then you bring the snake. That's how I had to go, right?
Yes, that's how I had to go.
Yeah.
That's how I had to go. Yes.
You know, I didn't know I could do a Prince Nana voice.
I didn't know either. As you went, I was like, I know he's not doing a Prince Nana voice. How long is it gonna go? Where is he taking us on this ride? Because this get problematic quick. It can get real dark real quick.
Oh, the good guys win, and this was cool. So
yeah, and that's the thing, right? People were asking, like, why. You know, people were asking, like, why does this match get made? What are the stories behind this match? Why do people tag together? It's like, evil locker room, good locker room. Go. It's not that hard. Don't overthink it. It's a fun match. Babyface won. Babyface got to celebrate. It's fun. Like, AEW has done this over the years of having like, you know, Sting and Darby and CM Punk, or CM Punk and John Moxley tag together, or CM Punk, I'm sorry, not CM Punk, or Sting and Darby and Eddie Kingston and Moxley tag together. It's always fun. Stop second guessing it. It's just a fun party match. And Babyface are probably going to win, and they're going to celebrate, and you're going to be like, oh, that's cool.
I remember Luchasaurus, Christian, Danielson, and Jungle Boy against Kenny, Cole, and the Bucks.
Rich,
remember that match?
Remember when Shibata at random decided to make the save at Forbidden Door for Orange Cassidy, and then Orange Cassidy put the glass on Shibata?
Yeah.
It's okay. It's okay. Why do you make this? Why are the baby faces helping each other? Because they're good guys, and the other guys are assholes.
It's amazing.
Just take the W for humanity. It's okay. Fuck.
Well, you know, maybe it's just these people are so unhappy they can't experience joy. You know. So we went backstage, and Switchblade Jay White was back there with Renee. He said anything the Undisputed Kingdom can do, the Bang Bang Gang can do better, including going after gold. Claimed Daddy Ass walked out. Said, you know, if we're a united force, you know, we can hold the gold all at the same time, not just the trios belts. They've suggested forming a super group, the Bang Bang Scissor Gang. Just feel like
Bang Scissor Gang.
Man,
that is the name of an orgy porn DVD.
It's too much. Too much bang and gang and nah. I've overdosed. Colton Gunn and Jay White say they're going to think about it. Austin Gunn was saying Jay White is from the UK, which was kind of funny. But after that, we got Samoa Joe in the suit coming out to address Daly's place. I believe his first time in Daly's as well. Came out, new AEW title belt. Got rid of that bullshit that was on MJF.
Is it new, or is it basically the original one?
I think it has.
Oh, it has name
side plate. It has side plates. Yeah.
I don't like side plate things. It's too WWE. They did it. Y'all need to just be okay with not doing it. Also,
I like the names too, but like these, like the side plates, like they didn't seem like they didn't, you know, those like little square plates on the side of the belts.
Yeah.
These ones actually like kind of look like they're more in the main face of the belt. So I don't know. Maybe I just didn't like notice it like that. But when Samoa Joe said, "I stand before you, the AEW champion," the crowd chanted, "Cheer. Thank you, Joe."
Yep.
I was fucking screaming. That was like an overwhelming message sent to MJF from the
and Tony Khan and all the grifters in the back. Yes.
It basically was like, we reject it completely. Anything that was happening with that belt before from the home base. Said, Get that shit the fuck out of here. Not to plagiarize our own shit, make sure you download the FOH draft if you haven't. Joe said no thanks are needed. He was destined for this. Did the deep Samoa Joe voice and all that stuff. And said, you know, there are changes in the championship protocol. No longer will you have to come out and whine on the mic about your poor misfortunes or go on social media to make hoe-ass comments.
He literally said hoe-ass. I popped.
He said, if you bring your record and reputation to the championship committee and if deemed worthy, you get an express pass for Joe to stomp your ass out in front of everyone who's ever cheered for you. Whoever wants it, the champ will be waiting.
Isn't it so much better than saying that, like, I'm going to like have a title reign that is going to be insufferable on purpose?
Yes.
And literally call it a reign of terror.
Swerve's music hits. First time he's in dailies, crowd loses it.
Yeah. Very over.
As people kind of, I think people are seeing the wheels get in motion right here.
Yep.
Because this is the guy right now. his music hit. Whole Mogul came out with him. Swerve said a few moments ago, he told Hangman that he was or a few months ago, he told Hangman he was after his spot, took it. He's going to tell you the same thing. Says in personal, I want the belt, essentially. Joe and Swerve went face to face. Hangman's music hit. Stares down Swerve the entire time. Not even really making eye contact with Joe. So immediately I'm like, wow, there's that three-way that I thought might happen. It's right there. So he said 2023 held a lot for him. He beat Moxley in the Texas Death, reunited with the Elite, and then he found Swerve Strickland. The one thing that he lost was sight of the AEW title, and in 2024 he's going to make it his again. Crowds losing it. Prince Nana then had to pull Swerve away as like Mogul Embassy retreated before Page got in Joe's face, said he's going to take the belt from him before he heads to the back. They did a kind of a breakup deal. Swerve is holding up the 2 at him, like, I whooped your ass twice, essentially. Let's do it again. So as they clear out, Joe's there by himself, and then the Hook music hit and the Hook signal went up, and then they shot that shit where Joe was looking up and you see the Hook. Hook walks out, walks straight in his face. They go face to face, and I'm just like very excited. I thought this all worked, and he basically said 1 week. I would like to see Taz talk to Hook essentially at some point before the match. Whether like Taz, I know Taz is an announcer. He's not going to manage him, but like have Taz like backstage with him to pep talk him, and then let him know like, hey, this guy ain't nothing to fucking play with. Essentially, like either you gonna step up now, or you gonna be, or you gonna keep fucking around like, doing some other shit. But it's time for you to become who the fuck you're gonna be right now, because that dude ain't gonna have no fucking pity on you, essentially. And then he can take his ass in and now say, well, and essentially try to justify his speech while Hook's wrestling him. I'm very into the Joe and Hook thing just because it's different. It's the test for Hook. It's finally time to throw him out there to see, what he's in there with a main eventer, what it looks like, and then so he can get knocked back on his ass. And then, all right, Hook's an actual wrestler now. He's not a meme anymore. Like, that's what I'm looking for out of this.
Yes, I wish that there was somebody that I thought I was more confident in being able to carry somebody than Joe at this stage in his career. But, I'm sure they have something planned, and they can obviously, exceed my expectations for this. So yeah, I'm interested to see what it looks like, on Wednesday. As far as the Adam Page, Swerve, Joe potential three-way match, I'm into it. I think it's a good way to get the hottest thing that's going on in the promotion, like, into the main event scene or into the title scene, and like provides cover for a short Joe title run. So yeah, it works for me, and also like gives you immediate like third match, singles match, like in the aftermath of it is like, Joe gets, somebody steals a pin or whatever else. One of them's a champion, the other one was in the match, the other one didn't get pinned. They should get the match. They should get the singles match. They have a third match. It works for me. So yeah, really enjoyed it. And like I tweeted this on. This was when he looked into the. No, actually, I take this back. I said Adam Page is a bitter, sore losing hater, and I'm totally here for it. I love this. I like ever since he went at face to face backstage with MJF, and then he said to Swerve like, "Look, man, I lost this round, but like, I know you want the AEW World Title, and you broke into my house. Like, I'm gonna make sure you never win this fucking thing, more or less. Like, I have loved that ever since then. And like, he has basically been like, look, bro, I lost, but like, I'm a hater. I never lose. You lose. It's gonna happen. I'm gonna be there and make sure it never happens. So I've really enjoyed this. I've enjoyed this a lot. So I can't wait to see how much more their hate continues to blossom. They have stumbled into something for Hangman Page that like they were not expecting. They were not expecting this, and like this is. I've enjoyed this. I haven't enjoyed anything with Hangman Page this much since, honestly, like since Full Gear 2021. Now, I'm not saying he's like obviously the Danielson stuff was excellent, top notch stuff, but it's just like when I see Swerve and I see Hangman together and they look at each other and you see the hate just build off them. It feels like when I used to see like Julia and Tam just look at each other, they want to fucking kill each other. Like it just we don't get hate this pure these days. It's rare. It feel like it feel like wrestling. It feel like more than wrestling with them. And obviously, he home invasion. That means something. I love it. I love it so much. We need more hate in our pro wrestling as far as on screen.
Yeah. Renee was backstage with Tony Storm, Luther, Mariah May. Talked about her debut last week. Mariah asked Tony if she saw it. Storm said she was at a screener, or she was given a screener, but she didn't watch. But she asked her if she did an arm drag. Then Renee said, you're here to talk about AEW's newest signing. Immediately, Tony screams Wendy Richter. And then Renee mentioned that it was actually Deonna Purrazzo, who, May said kicked her in the face. Then Timeless Tony gave May some chocolate and said she feels like the prettiest girl at the dance. Tony said the chin up, tits out line. Mariah said watch for the shoe. And then Tony was upset because that's her line, and she walked out. Moving on. Sammy Guevara versus Ricky Starks. Sammy wins. This was not great.
I thought it had moments, especially towards the end, but yeah, you're right. It wasn't great. I wanted it to be better than this. It just wasn't.
Yeah.
Kind
of a bummer too. It was like, all right.
I wouldn't mind them like having another match.
I feel like you got to give these guys a chance to get it right. Like I know they did the Battle of the Belts match. Ricky Starks, Big Bill retained and stuff like that, and Sammy went crazy during that match. But I feel like these two have way better in them together.
Are we gonna talk about Battle of the Belts or no?
I didn't watch it, but whatever you're
talking about,
yeah.
Where people have talked about how they just put back Ricky Starks and Hobbs, and they had an issue, and like what's supposed to be to make good is like Hobbs saves Starks' ass from catching that dive from Guevara from like 25 feet up. The problem is Hobbs wasn't there fast enough, and Starks had to move out the way on his own, and then like Hobbs just like was just there in the camera frame. Like Hobbs ain't actually saved him, but the commentary and like Twitter has put over that like he saved him. He did not. Go watch it. And then go watch it again in slow motion.
I guess Starks I didn't notice that
his
part.
Down stuff out the way. Hobbs didn't grab him. Hobbs was a second late.
Real beef. Let's see. Yeah. There were parts of this that was good, and then it was like, I don't know, it just didn't click, and I think they can do better.
I agree.
Ladies 8-person tag. Thunder Rosa, Chris Statlander, Willow Nightingale, The Anna Jay, Julia Hart, Sky Blue, Saraya, and Ruby Soho with Harley Cameron. Gotta say, man, what a nice match. They had fun out there. Anna Jay's teaming with the baby faces. And I thought this was enjoyable. And I thought this, I don't really ever have problems with the tags in the lady stuff. So
yeah,
it was good to see Thunder Rosa back on Dynamite here, and good energy. That's a hell of a babyface army, I gotta say.
I would agree with you, Rich. Because Thunder Rosa has been back for a few weeks now. What are your thoughts on her with like the full paint or like the half paint? Like the Darby-ism or the Sting-ism? Which one do you like on her more as far as the look?
I kind of lean towards the half paint.
I gotta say, I think I like the full paint more of late.
Gotcha.
I don't know if it's because I haven't seen her in a while and I missed her. I don't know, but like, yeah, I'm enjoying like the new touch of the full paint, and it feels more like the Dallas de Morte as opposed to like I'm butchered that name, but like it feels more like that actually than the half thing that was kind of just like a I'm doing it, but not really. I'm doing it, but I'm not going full. It feels like she's all in now, if you will, in AEW. I feel like she's all in now with the paint. Yeah.
I gotta say, either one works for me. But what ended up happening here? I believe Sky Blue took the pin in this match.
Yes, and she got the win. And like that kind of was foreshadowing with the Brody Lee stuff that they showed. And obviously Preston got the W, and so did Anna Jay. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, this wasn't too bad. I mean, Julia Hart tried to suplex the wrong person, but
it was the battle of the suplex spot. She was on the wrong side until whoever came in last was like, "Hey, dummy, you're on the wrong side," and then she got over on the right side.
Oh. Well, it was pretty good. I didn't see it yet, but I definitely did see people talking about it. They gave her one of those C2 promos after. So they showed Wheeler Yuta calling out Eddie Kingston for Rampage. Ended up watching all Rampage the other night, and fun show. Highlighted by, I would say, the Queen Eminata Hikaru Shida match. Also, Swerve and Matt Sydal got to cooking for a little bit.
Okay.
I think Yuta and Eddie went a little long. And it was just like Eddie Kingston fully owns the BCC now. He's now beat every member. But
had to complete the set.
Yeah, I had to do all that. But I gotta say, man, Queen Eminata, since she showed up, she's had 2 matches on between the Shida match and Mariah May. And there's like talk that she's actually signed, like for real. Mm-hmm. But they just haven't, done the whole graphic deal yet. Probably they're waiting to give her some type of win. She has been a revelation since she came in with those 2 matches. She's in there demanding people hit and get hit. And obviously we know Sheeta's bought it because we saw like when she goes to like Tokyo Joshi Pro or something, she'll just beat the shit out of like Hikaru Noah or something, right?
Right.
And she's ready for it. Queen Eminata is definitely ready for it. And I think she's going to be someone that is also responsible for changing the game around here, for making the cap be discovered. I'd say that's going on a little bit. This new kind of like wave that's coming in right now between Eminata, Mariah May, possibly Mercedes on the way in. It's Willow. When Athena's free from ROH jail, there's going to be, Shida. They're going to be hitting. Either you going to hit or you going to be like, people going to start looking at you funny. I feel like that's the way this is going.
Good. Like, pro wrestling, like, it's easy to spin your disbelief if they're hitting each other at hard and soft places.
I'm like, if you're
why do you think Bryan Danielson matches work so well? Because he kicks him in the chest really fucking hard.
Oh, Jamie Hayter when she returns, yeah.
Oh, that goes without saying, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, like, if you're not gonna hit people hard as fuck, at least be like athletic as fuck. And that don't always happen. So like it kind of get left in that kind of weird area in the middle where it's like, oh.
Right.
So
right, and not everybody can wrestle. And like, if you one of those, like, you don't get to wrestle Chris Statlander every single week.
Right. We then got Roger Strong and Brian Keith. Keith did not get his entrance. I was hoping to hear some Steel Tipping on there. Did not hear it. I'm sure they got it in the building.
Cost too much. No,
he's a Swisher House athlete. Like, he's sponsored by.
Does that mean they don't have to pay Swisher House licensing? Like, I don't know what that means.
I think like they played it on the ROH pay-per-view.
I know they did.
Like, I don't know.
They've had to play it twice. How much does it cost to play it a third time? Is what I'm getting at. Yeah.
I think he'll end up with it. But
okay.
Roger Strong and him, I would love to see these two go 10. They only went like 4, and it was awesome.
Yeah. Every time I see Keith, I'm always saying to myself, like, all right, how long do I have to wait until I get a high draws matchup with Ishii? I want to see who's the king of high draws.
Keith gave him a nice diamond dust. That's a deep cut video game wrestling maneuver. I feel like that's the only reason I know why that's named a diamond dust.
I mean, do they even call that video game wrestling at this stage of the game? Because that's video game wrestling. That's pretty tame now.
Yeah, like that shit was in the video games in the 90s. Like, so Roddy got the win. After the match, Cole came out and he came out there with this group, and I was just like, do we have to like keep hearing from y'all? Can't y'all just take a couple weeks off? Like, that's where I was at with it. I don't dislike these guys, anything like that. It's just like, come back with a new mission statement. But to his credit, he kind of came up with one, because it looks like there's a Roger Strong, Orange Cassidy thing kind of being set up. Here he said, when he said things would change, it says what he meant. They're not worried about the fans at all because they deserve everything. Strong's a 20-year vet. Said the international title has his name all over it. Cole put over Taven and Bennett for being the greatest ROH tag team champions of all time. I wonder to myself, who could possibly care?
Is that supposed to be? I don't know. The Young Bucks? I don't know.
Yeah, Briscoes.
Yeah. Like, that's supposed
Stuff
to be
like
the heat.
that.
Like, what about these motherfuckers? Right?
Yeah.
I'm guessing that's the heat.
Said Wardlow, their monster, their dominator. Yep, them two. So Wardlow's surrounded with people who respect him when the time is right. We are going to win the AEW World Championship. Cole told the fans to say hello to their new kingdom. Get comfortable. They're going to be there for a very long time. And I was like, take your ass out the ring, go home, rehab, get your foot right, holla.
Oh, continue with the bit. Red Dragon.
Yeah.
Motor City Machine Guns.
Add them in.
Yeah.
SCU.
Yeah.
Renee was backstage with Deonna Purrazzo. Says she's still on cloud 9 after her debut. And in walked Red Velvet. Yeah. Deonna Purrazzo versus Red Velvet was then booked for Collision. I did not watch Collision this week, unfortunately. But I'll catch up. Wink, wink. For the main event, Jim Ross came out and Justin Roberts introduced Flair to the ring. This crowd was hot all night, too.
Yes,
this is a big energy show, too. I think we're kind of underselling that. But we got Sting and Darby Allin against Powerhouse Hobbs and Takeshita in one of the absolute most positively psychotic matches I think I've ever watched on TV. Darby Allin is a psycho. Sting is a psycho. Takeshita, Hobbs. Bro, these motherfuckers decided, like, yo, we're going to tear this fucking building down. Like,
I can't remember the last match I saw where I was like, oh, I think 3 people got a concussion in one match.
Bro, this is crazy, bro. Like
I'm not saying they did for sure. I'm not a doctor, but I was like, these are subcussive force, like, blows to the head and neck that are being sustained by these people. What is happening? Who allowed this? How did this happen, bro? The fall, the finish with Sting and Will Hobbs,
bro. I was like, what are they doing the whole time?
That's 2 for 1 concussions.
Yes, I was fucking shocked. I was like,
bro,
they're doing a fucking reverse DDT there. Oh, because they were supposed to go through 2 tables. They only went through 1.
They barely got the 1.
And I was like, yo, this man Sting is fucking psycho, but absolutely
that shit
going
was reckless and dangerous and crazy. Classic.
In the Notebook.
Oh my
yes.
God.
Somebody gift that shit. Somebody give me this slow raise.
I don't necessarily disagree with you because I was like, this is fucking insane. Someone's going to die.
Yeah, I am
bro,
not
Darby
correct.
almost died twice in that match, bro.
Yeah, bro. Darby jumped off the fucking. I don't even know what the fuck.
I'm sorry,
was,
3
bro.
times. I forgot about that one. They do the rolling.
Insane.
They do the rolling German suplex spot that they did the week before, going down the bottom of the ramp. Except they did it on just a horizontal or just on the floor, and Takeshita sends him flying. And Darby, instead of flipping over and landing on his shoulder or whatever else, he lands on the top of his fucking head while flipping.
Yes,
undoubtedly. He looks a mess. I'm like, oh my God. Match continues. He gets ready for the next spot. And then at some point, and then like 90 seconds later, whatever it was, Darby's back in the fucking ring. He's down. He's getting double teamed by Hobbs and Takeshita. And they decide to slingshot, not slingshot, because that would imply that he's been stretched and then let go. They basically hurt him by his arms and legs. 1, 2, 3. He goes up in the air, goes flying, and then on the way down, he clips his head and neck, clips one of the ropes. And while he's in the air, he is twirling. He's twirling
yes.
almost like imagine someone doing a tornado. He's
that boy's
doing
getting flipped inside out.
Revolutions in the air. He has he doesn't know what's going on. He's not aware of where the ropes are until the rope fucking pops him in the mouth or in the neck.
Bro,
it was just like, oh my God.
That shit was full Diana Ross. Upside down, you're turning me. You give me love. Right up, inside out. Yeah, all that shit. Yes. Yeah, man. This was sensational. I hate to say it, but it was bro, whatever Dart has gotten into Darby and Takeshita, they gotta keep going. They gotta keep running.
Do they? Is someone going to have to die?
Bro, I would love to see these men explore all parts of the art of pro wrestling. Yes.
Next time Darby fights Takeshi, I need Darby in a football helmet. or it ain't gotta be the full on
how about the leather helmet?
Be the full Riddell or the shut. They can put him in the soft 7-on-7 helmets now that they put the kids in now. They can do that, but it can't be what he's been doing where it's just he going out there raw head. Nah, he gonna die at this rate.
He's they stumbled into these two together, and it's just I want to see more.
Takeshita throwing that man around like he's Yoshihiko. No regard, don't give a fuck. He's a doll.
He is throwing him around like that, man. Sting and Darby win.
Hold on. Before we move on, Brave said also Darby is going to climb Everest. Darby ain't gonna be able to sip through a straw at this rate.
As Tunnel Talk would say, don't climb Everest. After the match,
Darby Cutie said he's gonna be talking with his eyes. He's gonna have a computer where he looks at the screen and he's gonna be talking to us with his eyes. You need to stop.
This guy's built different, man. I don't know what drives him to do these things, but brother, it's
ain't
awesome.
No thrill worth seeking like this.
Shivani gets in the ring and asks Sting, who is his final opponent going to be?
we not finna just breeze through like as if Tony Schiavone got up there and asked him that real smooth. They took a while. It was kind of awkward because we didn't know if the lights were on with Sting.
We didn't mention what Flair did. Flair got in there, was trying to chop Hobbs.
That's right. There was also a part in the match, early in the match, or in the first half of the match, where Takeshita was in front of Ric Flair and he was chopping the fuck out of somebody in retaliation for when Takeshita threw like a series of chops one time and like two of them sucked, but the first one was great. And then Flair said like, the Takeshita guy, if the person that trained him saw, they beat the hell out of him for throwing these shitty chops. And then Takeshita made sure to chop in front of Ric Flair and was chopping the fuck out of that dude and was staring holes daggers into Ric Flair. It was fucking amazing. It was fucking amazing.
Ric Flair was getting flashbacks. He was like, I remember Saruta, I remember
Oh my God.
I remember Fujinami, He's seeing them red lights, like, oh shit. Like he's reincarnated.
But yeah, man, after Sting, pulls what's left of him back together to get to find the strength inside of him to get up and crawl his ass back into the ring so Schiavone can talk to him. Bro, I was like, bro, is he dead?
Bro, Sting was looking rough. Like that, Sting come out here with the slick back, and stuff like that, but it'd be thin a little bit, but it'd be like, it looked like it was weathered. Like he went through some action, like he put in a hard shift, that night with that match, but ask him.
Sting, you know what? I don't know if you've ever seen this trope in like westerns and cop movies where like it's their last day on the job or it's their last or it's the last ride and like the old timer thinks like I'm going to do this one last thing. I'm perform my one last service of duty and then I'm going off into the sunset with my wife, my family, whatever. And then they tragically don't make it. It makes it more sad because this is the last shift.
That Carlito's way.
Bro. Yeah, right. When Sting got up, it was like, oh, I'm taking my ass home. Sting was like, whoever wrote this movie wanted me to die here, but I didn't die. You bastard. I got up and I'm gonna get the fuck out of here. Bro, Sting was hurting bad, boy. He was hurting bad.
He was hurting.
And the worst part of it is Hobbs' fall. He took a worse fall. He landed on like his fucking neck.
Yeah.
From a high angle. It was bad, bro. It was a crazy match. A crazy match.
Like Kenta Kobashi would have looked at that shit like, what the fuck are y'all doing?
Kobashi at the dome was like, nah, bro. You can't be doing this. Like, bro, you landed on your neck from a ramp before. Yeah, but y'all did like 4 of those, basically.
So Tony Schiavone then asked Sting, who's gasping for air, if he wants to talk about the final match at Revolution.
God damn it! Shit, he's a gasp for air. Holy shit! Oh my God! Go ahead, Rich. Go ahead.
And he said, "Who's going to be your final opponent?" And then the music fucking hits. The Young Bucks, Matt and Nick Jackson, show up, and they're finally back after months and months, or it seems like months. They have returned, and you automatically get what's going on here. They don't say a word. A word doesn't need to be said. Mustachioed, both of these gentlemen.
Came back looking terrible, like usual.
Nick had the all white suit on. Matt had the all black one with the jacket. Reality. I kind of like Matt's the jacket that he had on. And it's Sting and Darby against the Young Bucks at Revolution, and man, I was like immediately, popping, losing my mind, happy the Bucks are back. And then I was like, well, against Sting and Darby, it makes sense. Like they've won every tag match they've ever had, Sting and Darby, and who better to work with than the Bucks? But apparently, not so fast. A meltdown then ensued. Why is it the Young Bucks? Why is it this? Another round of Young Bucks delusion.
Right.
Another round of, people drawing up misinformation. Another round of the likes of those like Matt Coon immediately contradicting himself in public. Another round of poor FTR. Another round of people just not understanding what and who these guys are, not only to this promotion, to wrestling at large. Sting worked against the Bucks at the original Forbidden Door with Darby and Shingo against ELP and the Bucks,
right?
And said that was like the most fun he's ever had in a wrestling ring. The Young Bucks, obviously, they have more great matches than everybody, can carry people. They are going to, in Greensboro, North Carolina, they are going to put on a masterpiece of Southern-style tag team wrestling for Sting's final send-off. Sue Williams said it best. All you old motherfuckers that didn't vote for the Young Bucks at the Wrestling Observer Hall of Fame, this is for you, baby. This is it. This is gonna be it. This is going to be where they continue the lie, where they're fighting on that lie about the greatness of the Bucks and that them totally not understanding. They continue to be consumed with the hatred to not realize they're going to make Sting look like a fucking $1 million cash out there. That Sting handpicked these guys. He did not pick anybody else to work with. He's already worked with some of the other people that,
Yep.
Not in the 2v2, but in trios.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he's had 2v2s with these other teams, right?
Mm-hmm.
Bro, they're doing all this for what, man? Like, it's just the levels of crying. I don't get it. Like, I was very happy to see this match announced. Not even thinking about that aspect of it. I thought it would just be a cool match. Bucks returning, the dynamic, the retirement aspect of it. Obviously, it's going to be fucking crazy. The Greensboro, North Carolina deal, Southern style tag wrestle. Cool, that all kind of adds into it. But then when I find out that it bothered people this much, I'm like, oh,
well, for me, when it was first announced, my first initial thought was like, oh, they're doing Sting's retirement show in Greensboro, North Carolina, and like, FTR clearly would have wanted this match. They didn't get it, and I thought it was fucking hilarious. Because both of them from North Carolina. They're NWA cosplay tag wrestlers. The Midnight Express and the Brainbusters, and they don't get to wrestle Sting. I thought that this was fucking hilarious. I thought it was fucking hilarious. Like, I don't know what they're doing on the show. I don't care. If they're on the show, then hell, I would like for them to get the tag belts off of Starks and Big Bill, whatever. But like, I thought it was fucking hilarious, and like, I just knew that like there were going to be people that were going to, like start the proxy war, and like I knew it was going to happen immediately, and I was like, I'm not even going to stick around to see it. I just know what's going to happen. So I sent him my tweet and I left. And, yeah. I already knew where it was going to go. I already knew.
Yeah, man. Can't have nothing these days, apparently. They're going to make it all about themselves, all this other shit. Look, man, I don't know about you, James. When I watch the Young Bucks wrestle people, it don't be feeling to me like they wrestled a match for themselves. Like, I don't like, it don't ever quite add up. These imaginary narratives. I seem to recall. I'm not even going to go down the list. You guys know the list. We're all smart here. Obviously, it's loud talk from, admittedly, people that have, I don't know, man. I don't even know how to describe it, but like, what it wasn't even on like my mind at first. It was like, yo, this is cool. Sting wanted this. This is a cool match. That's enough for me.
Mm-hmm.
And
I think it's enough for most fans, but like, you know, if you're online and you're involved in a discourse, then you know, like, people are gonna have sides on this, of course, because the Young Bucks are divisive because of who they are, because they exist.
Yeah, it's. We're gonna hear from them this week. So I'm sure they'll have something to say. So they got 2 months to get there, whatever they're doing with Sting. However they can make it special for them, I hope they do so, because they wasted a lot of time thus far. So even if you got to make a call to Paul Levesque and say, hey, how can you help us here? Can you provide footage? Can you do something? They'll probably tell you to go fuck yourself, but you got to call. Like, you got to try for Sting. As much as Sting has done for this promotion, he's your legend now. Like, he's like, you continue to merchandise Sting after Sting lays it down. You continue to hold the legacy of Sting after Sting lays it down. Yep. Now.
You know what, Rich? I was gonna save this until Revolution, but whatever, we're here now. Remember when like Sting showed up at Winter's Coming, and like the immediate thought was like, oh my God, is he going to politic to get the belt?
Oh my God, is he? He's gonna
be beating people left and right and all this other shit. Remember that?
Yes.
How'd that work out? All these years later now.
I mean, he is undefeated.
Was this not one of the more successful like ways to use a legend in like the history of pro wrestling?
If you had to list the 5 greatest booking accomplishments of Tony Khan, the restoration and preservation of Sting is absolutely in that list. And like, it has gone in a way and grown, quite frankly, because when they first brought him in, they were like, yo, you can do cinematic matches, right? But what we found out was that was an old man full of pride, full of wanting to work to the standard, wanting to retake his own legacy, that it feel like they took him out, WWE took him out back themselves and ended that shit on their terms. No, Sting now gets to lay it down on his terms. Bro, Sting has never been like the number one wrestler for me. I've always just liked Sting or whatever and thought it was cool when I was growing up. Bro, and Sting lays it down, bitch, I might cry. Like, and it's like kind of hitting me now. It's like, damn, maybe I really do love Sting. And yes, Brewhaven asking, is AEW the best Sting run? For me, it is. Like, I mean, like I was too young for a lot of the stuff in WCW. Like, and a lot of it was, like this. I did watch TNA. WWE, definitely not.
Yep. Sting had higher peaks, obviously, in WCW / NWA. But as far as like, this is 18 straight months. Like, he's never done anything bad. It's all been quality stuff. It's low stakes, sure, but it's like, it's always fun. It's always a blast. The crowd's always super over for him. The matches always work. I think, like, he's only had like maybe like, I don't know how many matches he had. 50 matches in AEW, something like that. There may have been like 2 that stunk. Or 2 that weren't good.
No one shows up to wrestle Sting and mails it in. Everyone shows up for Sting out of how much they respect him, and they bust their ass in there with Sting. and Sting fucking matches him. Like, and it's like, of course he's gonna go into this match with the Bucks, and like it's a night off, damn near. It's like this is a fucking victory lap, man. Right. Like the people that don't want to see this, it's like there's gonna be. I'm sorry, I love you. There's gonna be that stuff in there just for them, and I hope they get nice and worked by it. Mm-hmm. But for Sting, this is a victory lap. He's done the hard work in AEW. Now he gets essentially like to get led through the match by like, at least in Nick's case, like one of the greatest minds in the history of like this business for putting matches together. Mm-hmm. What do y'all think is going to fucking happen in this? Right. The crowd's going to go fucking crazy. Everyone's going to be crying. It's going to be emotional. It's going to be spectacular all in one. Darby's going to go fucking nuts. Whatever they do to sign off with each other. Bro, we're looking at a legendary moment in wrestling waiting to happen. And people, all they want to do is hate their way through it. Like, yeah. I'm so fucking tired of these niggas, man. Like,
so I said 50 matches. I overspoke. It's like 24 on the match guide, right? I'm looking at Cage Match right now.
Right.
24 matches. Only 3 of them are not above 6. Mm-hmm. Like, he's had nothing but quality matches. He's had 3 stinkers in basically 3 years.
Amazing.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was Dynamite.
Yeah, man, I think. Do we have anything else?
That's it, man.
Yeah, I think that's it, man. Yeah, so thanks for listening, y'all. That's the end of the show. Be sure to rate us on whatever app you're using to listen to this with. And let's see. Do we have the... No, we don't. If you are listening from the podcast, be sure to go to... Or listening from... I am sorry. If you're listening or watching from the stream, go to the podcast, go to the show notes, and go to our Word Circle link and donate there. And be sure to listen to other shows on the network. Besides One Nation Radio, you have Keepin It Strong Style. You have All Things Elite. You have Imp's WWE Adventures. You have Wrestle Art with Chris Things. You have Tunnel Talk. You have the Trish and Sarah Wrestling Podcast. And you have All Things Elite. Thanks for listening, y'all. Later.
Peace.